So, you're curious about Rockport, Massachusetts. You've seen Motif #1. You've probably walked Bearskin Neck on a summer afternoon. Maybe you've stopped for something to eat, wandered through the shops, or watched the boats come into the harbor. And you're thinking, could I actually live here? I'm Kathleen Militello with eXp Realty and North Shore Smart Moves. And if you enjoy exploring the North Shore with me, please take a moment to like this video and subscribe to my channel. It really does make a difference. Because visiting Rockport and living in Rockport are two very different experiences, most visitors see a beautiful harbor town. But once you start looking at Rockport as a place to live, you begin noticing things you probably weren't thinking about while you were walking Bearskin Neck. How close am I to downtown? Can I walk to places? How busy will it be in the summer? Do I want to be near the water, or would I rather have more space? These questions can lead you to a very different part of Rockport. Let's begin with where most people know Rockport, Bearskin Neck, and downtown. This is the Rockport Visitor's Picture, the harbor, Motif 1, galleries, restaurants, shops, and people walking everywhere. If you live around here, one of the biggest advantages is walkability. You can walk for coffee, walk to dinner, walk along the harbor, and many of the places people come to Rockport to enjoy are practically right outside your door. But Rockport isn't only galleries, restaurants, and things for visitors. There are everyday conveniences here too. You have the train station, a local hardware store, a small grocery store and general store, and even a community movie theater. So, although Rockport feels like a small seaside town, you don't necessarily have to leave town for every little thing. Of course, living this close to downtown comes with something else. Summer! More people, more traffic, and parking becomes a huge challenge. People who live here learn the rhythm of the town quickly. They know when downtown is easy and when it isn't. And just a short distance away, Rockport starts to feel more residential. The South End is a good example. The streets are narrow. You'll find older homes, side streets, water views in some locations, and you're still close enough to walk back towards downtown. That's what makes this area interesting. You can be close to Bearskin Neck, the Shell and Lou Performance Center, Front Beach, and the shops without necessarily living right in the middle of all that activity. For someone who likes being near downtown but doesn't necessarily want downtown outside the front door, the South End is worth a look. Now let's head north. One of the first places I want to show you is Granite Pier. You'll see lobster boats, commercial activity, and granite along the shoreline. This isn't the polished Rockport you see on the postcard, and I think that's exactly why it's so interesting. This part of town, people actually work in. Around here, you'll find older coastal homes, residential streets, and properties tucked away from the busier downtown area. You can still be close to the ocean without needing Bearskin Neck to be part of your everyday routine. Continue north and you'll come into Pigeon Cove. Up here, Rockport begins to feel less like a destination and more like a coastal neighborhood. The coastline gets rougher. There's granite everywhere. The roads feel quieter, and downtown starts to feel further away. Pigeon Cove also has an important connection to Rockport's granite industry, which shaped much of this northern part of town. Keep going and you'll eventually come to the area around Halibut Point. This is one of the most dramatic landscapes in all of Rockport. The old quarry, huge slabs of granite, walking trails, and those wide open views across the water. Living up here isn't about walking into town for dinner. It's much more about the setting, the coastline, the open space, and having some distance from the busiest part of Rockport. And around the far northern side of town is Folly Cove. This is another area many people who visit Rockport never see. It's tucked along the northern edge near the Gloucester line. Smaller roads, rocky shoreline, homes tucked into the landscape. It feels quiet and removed. And by this point, Bearskin Neck feels like a very small piece of what Rockport actually is. But there's another side of town that sometimes surprises people even more. Inland Rockport. Head away from the coast. Suddenly the ocean isn't outside every window. Some of the houses are newer than what you'll find closer to the harbor. You may get a bigger yard, more space between homes, and easier access to 127 and Gloucester. What you won't get is the immediate feeling of stepping outside and being right on the coast. And that's the choice Rockport gives you. You can live close to the harbor and walk almost everywhere. You can stay near town, but move slightly away from the busy streets. You can head north towards the working waterfront and rugged coastline, or you can move inland and trade some of that immediate ocean atmosphere for more land and more privacy. So if you're looking for a home in Rockport, I wouldn't start by asking whether I like Rockport. I'd start with something much more practical. What do I want in my everyday life here? If walking to coffee, dinner, and the harbor matters to you, start close to downtown or the South End. If you like being near the water but prefer Rockport's working side, take a closer look around Granite Pier. If rugged coastline and a quieter residential setting appeals to you, start looking towards Pigeon Cove, Halibut Point, and the northern end. And if you'd rather have more land, more privacy, and easier access to inland, don't overlook West Rockport, because the Rockport you discover while you're here for the afternoon doesn't necessarily mean it's the Rockport you'll choose once you start thinking about your daily lifestyle. If you're thinking about moving to Rockport and you're trying to figure out which area makes the best sense for you, I am more than happy to help you sort through it. I'm Kathleen Militello with eXp Realty and North Shore Smart Moves. Thanks for coming with me to Rockport. I look forward to taking you on our next tour, and I'll see you on the next one.